Good morning and a warm welcome to our 8th edition of the Absa Business Connect Series. You know, our brand promise and purpose is to help bring your possibilities to life. And we do that through our products, our services, and engagements such as this, our Absa Business Connect Series. In our previous editions, my esteemed colleagues have shared very insightful topics and a lot of nuggets. And the great thing is, this is still on our page, just in case you missed the live broadcast. Today, we have another exciting topic. And I'm very passionate about this because it's right in my field. And you know, the COVID took a downturn for a lot of businesses. People lost their jobs. Some businesses didn't function the way, they had wanted to. And all of this, we attributed it to the COVID. But thankfully, businesses are up. Those who can are doing their very best to thrive. They are engaging their customers in the best way they know how. The question is, are we engaging the way we were doing before? I don't think so. Are we engaging differently, or should we be engaging our customers differently? I believe so. So our topic today is smart marketing and communication, post-COVID era. And I'm very excited to have somebody who is so resourceful, extremely good in this field, to share his insights, just to contribute, and hopefully that will help you get things done. And by the way, before I introduce my guest, if you have questions during the session, remember to post them on our page. And during the Q&A session, we'll try and answer as many questions as possible. My guest today has such vast experience. I'm in awe of this gentleman. Let me introduce you to Stephen Nasser Bwedi. Nasser is a marketing and communications consultant with over 20 years' experience. His core expertise sits in the digital marketing and communication area. He's worked in several multinational and local organizations in Ghana, rest of Africa, and Europe. And these include Sony in the UK, Barclays Capital, Wembley, PZ Cousins, and he covered, a number of countries in Africa, Cresage, Access Bank, ADB, Bradford and Bingley. Now, this should tell you who I'm talking about. Stephen is also a public speaker, a trainer on various topics in digital marketing and communication. He's a SIM UK tutor, as well as a speaker facilitator at such events as Social Media Week in Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya, Mobile West Africa, Block Camp, Bar Camp, Seamless West Africa, and iWeek. I'm excited about what Stephen is going to share with us this morning, and hopefully we can all learn a thing or two. So Stephen, thank you very much for agreeing to be part of our Absa Business Connect series, and you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Nana. It's good to be part of this project.
I am very excited about the things that we want to talk about, especially because I know we are marketing a little differently from what we used to do, simply because COVID has changed the dynamics of what we do.
Yes.
Now, online penetration in Ghana has grown significantly since the outbreak of the COVID. Let's face it, a lot of us live online now. Today, over 50% of Ghanaians are online. How important is this to marketing in the post-COVID era?
Thank you very much, and thank you all for joining us on this episode. It's very important because, among other things, it means as a business, you have opportunity to reach a wider audience. So you have the opportunity to get your message to more people, recruit more customers, and things like that. It also means that if you are smart about it, you can engage 24/7. The key thing is that if your content is online, even when you are asleep, people can still engage with your content. You give a message, or this is what we call a chatbot. The bot can even engage them while you are asleep to pick up. So these are all pluses. Plus, with online, almost everything is measurable. So it means you can have a lot more insight, more analytics, and make smarter decisions than doing traditional. Okay. The challenge, though, is that it means not just cut more customers online, but more businesses also going online.
That's right.
So your competition is stiffer. Anybody that can deliver products or services to your customer, your target customers, it's your competitor. So it means your message should be more compelling. You should make a better offering. And this is where, if you're online, your content becomes relevant. And I often say content should be relevant, it should add value, and it should be disruptive and be engaging. So these all have to happen for you. Plus, it means also that I say that online is a crowded space. So you as a business, you find that, for example, when we went on lockdown during COVID, that was when a lot of us even found out about TikTok. People were doing all sorts of videos and putting, there's so much content being pushed out YouTube everywhere. It means as a business, it's a crowded space. Your content has to be right to be able to stand out and get the engagement that you need. As we go on, we'll talk a lot more about some of these pluses that the online penetration growth has brought.
Ensuring that your content is compelling, it
Yes.
is extremely relevant to your audience
Yes.
now as you try and be in the online space. And the fact that the online area is already crowded.
Yes.
So your messaging must stand out.
I often say this, if I can add, people say that attention span is very low.
It's
But I
true.
say our attention span is low only for junk content. If the content is right, people watch it over and over and over. So we have attention for great content, not for junk content.
I definitely agree with you. And I know that now you have a term, I think I've listened to you talk about robo.
Yes,
You know,
yes. I mean,
researching online and then buying
Buying
offline.
Yeah.
Because now we don't live our world only on the online. Our reality is still offline.
And that's a mistake some people are making these days. They take all their money and invest it online because online is the in thing. But for us in Ghana and most parts of Africa, we still have a lot of activities we do offline. And we research online about the products and services, get out our phone, research about it. But when it comes to picking the product or payment, we do it offline. So you have to be present on both platforms. That's why we talk about integrated marketing.
Yes. That's smart marketing. That's really smart marketing. And many businesses, I think the area of budgeting is an interesting one.
Yes.
Because a lot of the platforms, especially in traditional media, have seen a shift.
Yes.
Print is one of the areas that have seen a significant shift. Although I do say the statistics demonstrate that it's coming back a little bit. But now people can consume even print online anyway.
Yes.
So we see that the area of marketing budgets have seen a bit of a cut down. And
Indeed.
yet, the expectations of any marketing professional, or marketing and communications professional, is to still practically deliver, if not the same, even better
results,
outcomes.
Yes.
You know, regardless of, which means the essence of what we are discussing is very critical. Do your marketing and communication as smartly as you can, so that you can really maximize the budget that you have. So can you share your thoughts around this particular area? Because it is what is happening in our industry now.
Indeed. And what I often say is that now more than ever, you need to align every campaign and every budget spend with objectives, clear objectives that hit the bottom line. So, for example, if you want to produce a TVC, what do you want to achieve with a TVC? Is it a new mortgage product? Is it a new recipe that you want to create awareness about? So that when you're spending money, whether with an influencer or whoever, it's aligned with the objectives that you want to get. Once you do that and you set some KPIs from the beginning, then you can be able to estimate clearly and assign enough budget to it so you get the results you want. And I often say this, more so with digital, almost everything is measurable. So you have your KPI set, your objectives are aligned, and you do what we call monitor, measure, and optimize. So you don't wait till the end of the campaign to tweak the campaign. Okay, so that because Otherwise, you might get to the end of the campaign and the board will start asking you questions. But today, you have the opportunity to get a lot more out of your money. Number two, also make sure that you're doing the right things. During this, I said something. There's a time for TVC and there's a time for a social media video, for example. So a TVC, I've shot TVCs that cost almost 200,000 CDs or whatever. Great. But that gives you only about 30 seconds or maximum 45 seconds to talk about the product. You could invest that money with some influencers who have connection with your audience.
That's it.
Let them create great content for you. There's unboxing of products, even demonstrate the product usage occasions and things like that. So that they do this. And some of these influencers have really honed in their craft. They can do great stuff for you.
That's true.
So the bigger chunk of the money is to put it behind the content you're creating to get the audience, to get visibility. Because TV will give you the buzz, all right? But TV is the same they're going to be seen every time. But here you can have various videos that can walk them through various usage occasions or various assets. So that's another smart way of using your budget. And again, I'll say it, measure everything you are doing. And give yourself the flexibility to be able to move budgets around. So if something is not working today, you can decide, from the stats that I'm seeing, I need to move the budget to this other area. And make smart decisions make data-driven decisions about every budget spend.
I like that thought because, as you said, you have to, right from the beginning, you must ensure that you monitor, you measure, and you optimize.
Yes.
And that should be practically part of your objectives as you start. You don't get into the middle before you realize. And my observation, specifically post-COVID, is that now we have a lot more measuring tools than we had even before COVID.
Exactly.
Because everybody wants to now optimize their budget and ensure that if I put my budget into this, I am, making the best out of it. And I love the bit about the influencers and what they bring to the table.
Yes.
Because at Absa, we also work with some influencers who have actually helped us because they've got their followers, and some of their followers are target audience, and therefore, honing in their craft and ensuring that they also attract the usage of our products together with our audience. It's been actually absolutely fantastic, and these were areas that we were honestly not playing in before COVID.
And if I can add a bit to that, you see, the influencers tend to be able to speak more authentically about the products and services than an ad. So if you have the right ones, and I don't want to mention names, but I've seen some of the ones that you're doing with Absa, other brands are using some influencers who are good. I have to add, though, that as marketing people, we need to ask the right questions of our influencers. But some are also ripping brands off, I have to say that. Sorry, I manage some of them, but I know that not all of them do great work.
Yeah. So I like that. I mean, in everything that we do, in ensuring that you are doing your due diligence and ensuring that there's a fit with the influencer as well as your brand is critical. That I get. But then I also know that now we are also looking at data a lot more. There's now more analytics. There's more, we're making more data-driven decisions than we ever did before. Why? Because there are so many different ways now you can use to get to your audience or your target, your specific target, either your primary or your secondary. And in any way you look at it, you need data. So what does it mean, to say you want to make data-driven decisions? And how is it important in these days in marketing?
It means justifying every marketing decision and supporting it with data. It could be insights. Here, I won't say data. We don't mean just numbers.
Yes.
It could be insights. You talked about insights earlier. I mean, the data should tell you who your exact consumer is. I remember having a conversation with someone. They make these traditional bags. And they said, well, I asked them, who do you sell to? They said, I sell to everybody in Ghana. I said, you can't sell to everybody in Ghana. For example, somebody in Bogatanga, if you can't deliver to them, you don't need to target them when you're running your ads. So that's a data-driven decision there, just from the insights. And this is, like you said, almost every platform gives you a lot more numbers. So
Yes.
that's making data-driven decisions allows you to be more targeted. It allows you also to be more measurable and get a lot more from your budget. We just talked about budgets, so that you're not spending on areas that you don't need to.
Yeah.
I mean, we have big radio stations in town. You may want to do radio, but you may find that the radio doesn't reach the places where you I'll give you, say this. When I used to work in corporate, now I run my consultancy. When I used to work in corporate, people used to say, I want this radio station because it's the biggest in Ghana. I said, true, but what you don't know is that when they go on break, during breakfast, for example, they play local arts. So they will charge you big to play your arts during the morning show, but when their partners locally, when they go on break, they play local arts. So you're not getting all the audience that they sell to you. And that's a data-driven decision there.
That's true. That's true. And I know, as we say, that data and facts can be meaningless.
Oh, yes.
You know, for effective communication. So if you use data effectively, you can use them to tell stories.
Yes.
Stories that are relevant for your target audience. And that's only when they can honestly associate and have meaning with whatever product that you are bringing to them. And I love what you know, we are being, you know, able to do. Now, thankfully, I must say sometimes it's interesting. There is COVID, and post-COVID, honestly, a few good things have come out of COVID to help all of us in our trade and in our craft. So it's exciting now how we're able to now geo-target using SEOs and stuff, just to ensure that if I have a product, I'm reaching my right target.
Exactly.
I have larger reach, which is a principle of any media, that let me get my overall reach out there. But now when I want to get to the one who will make a decision about my product, now we have data and we have a lot of analytics to help us zero in there. And that's, for me, one of the positives that we are seeing now.
If I can add a bit to the storytelling part, just to explain it. So, for example, Absa has a contactless card.
Yes, you do. You
can do an infographic and say, oh, the contactless card allows you to do 1, 2, 3. That's just giving the raw facts. But when you give it to an influencer and you say, well, when I went to this restaurant, when it was time, I just whipped it out and voila, whatever. That's telling a story about the usage occasion. It's more compelling, more entertaining. People want to watch it over and over. It's not tedious assessing that content.
It's actually right in the moment and in the exact environment that you hope the card will be used. So you tell your story and it's a little bit more convincing. I love that. Now, let's talk just briefly about PR and communication, because it's still a very, very critical part of how we are still marketing and then also getting to the consumer. What are some of the new trends in PR from where you sit, you know, as far as communication is concerned in these times?
Since COVID, one of the big ones is PR to reassure. Because COVID came with a lot of fear and everything, and we're inviting people back into our offices, into our shops, into our businesses. And so your communication should reassure people that they are coming into a safe environment. That's very, very key. We also do that to position ourselves in terms of thought leadership. And this is where a lot of brands need to do work like we're doing here. What we're doing now is really offering value to your, business clients, to position us as the bank that understands businesses and understands the challenges that they have and work with them. So that's very key. Another area where brands are leveraging PR now is what we call online PR, where you create content. Because online PR is where you create content that when people search for you, they will find that content. Okay, so that, because these days everybody's a publisher. Somebody can stand anywhere and tweet something bad about your business.
Yes, that's true.
But if you have content out there, then it means in that same space, people can see both and what comes up. Maybe one of the first things you do is Google your own business, Google your own brand and see what comes up. And see whether there's enough content about you and you like that content. We're also doing a lot more social listening, because PR these days is not reactionary. You should be able to anticipate the challenges that the business would have, so you can kind of like address them before the mishap happens. And we don't do a lot. Otherwise, we'll be firefighting every day. That's not PR today.
I know. Thank you so much. I love that. I think proactive PR
Yeah.
and making sure you're anticipating and communicating ahead to create your positioning
Yes.
as well. Is very, and I know now thought leadership is now such a critical part of our overall communication and linkage with our audience, because it gives them also access to either executive knowledge, executive reassurance, and that's the only way they feel even more assured so that they continue to do business
Yes.
with us. And
Yes.
that's an area that is very interesting. So viewers, we've discussed, you know, different buckets on marketing, how you can market smartly online, how you should look at data to make decisions, how you can do very smart PR and communication as you market. And we are very much aware that everybody is looking for new ways to break through the clutter, because indeed there is a lot of clutter out there. But how do you stand out? How do you become different? How do you become unique? Just so your message will stand out, and that's the way you can get as close to your audience as possible in a meaningful way. Thank you very much, Stephen.
right.
Thank you. Really appreciate this. So
That's all right.
thank you, viewers. It's been an exciting session. Hopefully you have picked up some nuggets. We're closing this session now. However, you can keep your questions and your comments coming on our page, and we'll do our very best to send you some responses. At Absa, this is one of our ways that we help you get things done. We call this Africanacity, and I hope you've had an enjoyable session with us today. Thank you very much, and have a beautiful day.